Hey guys, Dale Hightower here. Today we're on Lake Keystone and we're going to talk about dock fishing techniques and how to catch fish off of docks using my very favorite rod, the Cara Amistad rod. This is the rod I use and choose to use for dock fishing. Stay tuned, we'll teach you a little bit about dock fishing. Oh, he's hung up around it. Here he comes. Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Nice fish. Blue fleck ribbon tail worm. Come here, baby. There we go. There's a nice chunk. Blue fleck ribbon tail worm, summertime fishing on docks. Hard to beat. So here we are on Lake Keystone, late summer pattern, summer fishing pattern, fishing docks. This time of year, I really like to target docks for several reasons. One, there's always bait fish around docks. Bait fish are always running around under these docks, eating the plankton off the bottom of these docks, so that attracts the bait fish, perch, and then obviously the bass come here and feed on them. Another reason is there's shade. There's just constant shade here for these fish in the hot summertime. You know, we're looking at 90-degree water out here. It's really warm, it's hot. You know, just a few degrees makes a big difference with these bass. You know, they're really not a whole lot different than we are. You know, they want to stay cool. They don't like the sunlight in their eyes. It, you know, really hurts their eyes, so they're looking for that shade all the time. So it provides shade, provides cover, provides bait fish, also allows them fish to move up and down in the water column. You know, early morning, a lot of times these fish will be up and they'll literally be right up underneath these docks. Sometimes they bite really quick, like they kind of have been this morning, and then other times you really have to just finesse them and you have to just look for where they're at and where they're positioned on these docks. But once you can clue in on where they're positioned, it's pretty easy and a lot of fun. Nice big one. So fish really wanted it. He swallowed that worm pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually cut that hook off and leave it in there because it'll rust out. All right. Decent little old 2.25 pound fish, and he's bleeding, and I'm gonna get him back in the water. Let's help him get going. Go on, buddy. So I'm out here fishing these docks, and a lot of these docks will provide cables that come off in the water, and they'll either be, the cables will come out and they may go out here and go to a concrete anchor or something down on the bottom of the lake. That's another place for these fish to get. They will actually literally set right on these cables. They'll suspend right on those cables. So a lot of times I'll get out here while I'm fishing these docks and I'll turn around and I'll find those cables, and I like to throw parallel with those cables and just bring it right down those cables, and there'll be a lot of fish. Sometimes there'll be several fish sitting on those cables, and you can catch more than one. Those cables are long, they come all the way out here, and those fish could be anywhere from the bank all the way to the dock itself on these cables. One thing I really look for with my 360 is I can see those concrete anchors down. If these cables come off in the water and they go out and they actually are on the bottom of the lake, I can see those concrete anchors. They're normally pretty big, you know. They're 3 foot by 3 foot, sometimes 4 foot by 4 foot, and it's structure, and that's what those fish are looking for, something to get up next to ambush. There he comes. There he comes my way. I knew there'd be another one under that dock. All right, come on over here. There we go. All right. So, dock fishing out here on Keystone, using my Cara Amistad. It's a 7'3" heavy action. It's perfect for flipping, pitching around these docks, getting these fish up. You know, there's structure down there. There's these little cables and bars that are down there, and I want a stiff enough rod to get them fish up before they get me down in that stuff and break me off. Let's put this fish back in the water and we'll talk more about our setup. My setup is I'm using a finesse worm. This is a green pumpkin magic. I use two colors. I use green pumpkin magic and I use a blue fleck worm. The reason for these two colors, if the water clarity is dirty, and here on Lake Keystone where I'm at, the water clarity, it changes all over this lake. One area it'll be dirty, one area it'll be clean. So in the dirtier water, I like to go to the blue fleck. It's something I feel like they can see a little bit more easier in the dirtier water. The other bait I'm using is a green pumpkin magic, and I like to dye the tip with a little garlic dip chartreuse dye. Confidence thing for me. It also kind of has that perchy look to it, but I'm also finessing using a finesse worm here. You can see there's two different worms here. This is a finesse worm. This one here is a ribbon tail worm, has a little more action to it. Action, less action. Dirtier water, action. Cleaner water, less action. I'm using a 6 gill 4/0 hook, just a regular old worm hook. Putting this bait on here and just Texas rigging it. Just like that. Very, very simple setup. Just a simple Texas rig. Key is pegging this bait right here. You know, keep that bait close to this, or that weight close to this bait right here as we bring it over the cover and structure and drop it down in. It's a reaction strike that I'm getting here in the summertime on Lake Keystone. So when I'm out here and I'm fishing docks, what I'm looking for is, if you look down here at the corner of this dock, you see a piece of angle right there. That angle actually goes straight down into the water. It goes down about 4 foot and then goes all the way across and then comes back up and meets the dock up here. They use those angles to make the dock sturdier. Those angles down there, those fish love to get on those angles and they'll suspend. They suspend underneath them. They'll suspend right up next to them. Sometimes they suspend on top of them. But they use those angles to suspend. And what I'm doing to try to catch those fish is actually just take my bait and I'm going to flip it out there, and I like to flip past it about 10 foot, and I'll feed it some line because I want that bait to drop straight down. So I'll feed it some line. I want that bait to go down about 10 foot. On that fall, I'm feeding it some line, but I'm also watching my line. I'm watching for that line to stop falling. Maybe you might see it jump. Anything that lets me know that there might be a fish that's picked it up on the way down. So after I let it fall about 10 foot, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pumping it and working it back. And I'm going to work it back, and I worked it too fast that time, or too slow that time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch it there. I'm going to let it fall down about 10 foot. Then I'm going to start working it back. And as I work it back, I'm working it back upward to that bar. And I want to come up and I want to hit that bar, crash into that bar, and just get over the bar and let it, just kill it, just drop it and just let it fall. And I'm going to let it fall about another 10 foot. That's typically when I'm going to get my bite. It's just a reaction strike. It comes up, it hits that bar. They think it may have killed itself, whatever, and then it just free falls straight to the bottom. Those fish come up, and that's whenever they eat it. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about today is when I'm dock fishing, you know, water clarity. Water clarity is really, really important. You know, if the water's muddy, when I say muddy, you know, 2-3 inches, 4 inches visibility, that's pretty dirty water. Probably not going to see me out fishing these docks. Fish tend to want to be closer to the bank. The dirtier the water, they have no reason to be out deep. They can be shallow. They're going to be right up there on that bank. They might be in the bushes. Typically, if the water is dirty, it's dirty for a reason. We've had a lot of water flow coming through the lake because a lot of rain. So the water clarity would be dirty. Dirty water and dock fishing just really don't go hand in hand unless you're really fishing really, really shallow docks. Here on Lake Keystone, I'm fishing some deeper docks. These docks tend to range to, you know, up to 20, 25 foot of water. Fish not necessarily in 20 or 25 foot of water. They'll be suspended, typically 12 foot or less. Water clarity that's got, you know, 8, 10 inches of visibility, that's pretty much about the peak. As far as if it gets any less than 10 inches of water clarity, I'm probably not going to be fishing docks. That's a good one right there. Right. That's a good one right there. Hey, that's dock fishing. Summertime dock fishing. Perfect. Good way to catch good largemouth bass in the summertime, hot summertime, under docks, on the rails, using my Cara Amistad rod from Falcon. Check out Falcon's line of rods. They're the best rods there is. Nice fatty right there. Good one to end the day with. All right. Thanks for watching, folks. Take care. Come on, sweetie. There we go.